Hi, everybody.
Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the executive committee meeting of Manhattan Community Board 5 for November. My name is Bradley Berger. I'm the chair. So we will get this started. We're going to go a little bit out of order for the agenda because Michael Southworth is on his way. He's a couple blocks away. So we're going to skip over that one and come back to that afterwards. And start with the budget, education, and city services resolution. So they did not, unfortunately, have quorum at that committee this month, so Mohit's going to explain the budget requests and the district needs statement, and then we'll take a vote on that to start.
Awesome. So happy to jump right in. Good to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So as you all know, one of the core responsibilities of the community board is to put together an annual district needs statement, which is then reviewed by local officials, the mayor, and all of our agencies. When we submit this district needs statement, we get responses from each of the agencies regarding which of the requests they will accept and meet and which ones they might not for this coming fiscal year, and a reason as to why. So with that context, over the last 3 meetings, over a collective 12 to 14 hours, the committee has spent time in identifying, reviewing, and prioritizing budget requests. As Brad mentioned, we unfortunately did not have an in-person quorum, but we did have a supermajority involved in the creation and voting to finalize the approval of our district needs statement, and the statement was unanimously approved. So I will share some context as to our process, which is a bit long, and then I'll just pause for any questions or thoughts. So each of the 126 budget requests, if you look at the Excel, was informed, which then informed our district needs statement, was identified by subgroups within our committee and then ordered by segment per the guidelines shared by the Department of City Planning. The requests were identified in 3 ways. One was through inbounds directly to the committee. One was requests from our last fiscal year that were unfulfilled last year that we carried forward this year, or through direct outreach by our committee members to organizations and agencies. Once we then compiled this comprehensive list of potential requests, we identified any gaps as a committee in our second meeting that may have existed in the requests that we were reviewing. And then relative to community feedback, we started including additional requests or additional areas of potential need that we thought were relevant based on over this past fiscal year, and then prioritize each of those requests within its relevant agency. So this is one thing that we did, which was, I guess, different than past years, in which when we did our district needs statement more broadly, we would prioritize our requests as a whole and identify our top 3 requests across all agencies. This year, as a committee, we decided to align on identifying which 3 requests were most important within each individual agency, because it's very difficult to differentiate between 2 very dissimilar agencies. So once we compile this comprehensive list based on community feedback and all of our modes of outreach, all of the committee's effort across these areas led to this consolidated statement of district needs for this coming fiscal year. We have identified 3 key areas of highest need, which are homelessness, economic recovery, and affordable housing. And within each of our 7 topic areas, as per the Department of City Planning, we have additionally identified an area of most need. So there are 7 of these total areas, again, informed by community feedback and our thorough budget review process. So this is a little bit about how we came to create the district needs statement, how we thought about some of the requests that we received, and how we compiled some of these requests. Again, the statement was approved unanimously by a supermajority of the committee, but unfortunately, we did not have in-person quorum. So we'll take a quick pause for any questions or thoughts.
So starting off, any questions? And Josh, if you see one online, just flag it for me. Thank you. Any comments? Here.
If we have specific questions about the language, like for example, on line 441, it says the development has led to increased use of micromobility options such as bicycles, e-bikes, e-scooters, and mopeds. If we have questions about like specific language, is the time to raise them now before we vote?
Yeah, I mean, I think now is the time because we're going to vote and this will go sort of as written to the full board. So if there are kind of tweaks, I think that's okay. I mean, as Mohit flagged, this has come before the Bex committee for 3 months. So I'd like to try to not spend too much time tweaking and massaging language if we can. But if there are things that you think would change people's perceptions or how you might vote, I think that's totally reasonable.
Yeah, I think the only tweak specifically that I read through it that I saw immediately was Todd.
Feel good?
Was that I think we should use the same definition that other people use for micromobility, which would be bikes, e-bikes, e-scooters. I looked at a few options like international standards and the US DOT. No one includes mopeds as micromobility. So I would suggest changing 439 from micromobility to micromobility and mopeds, and then changing the 442 to specify that mopeds are not part of the micromobility category.
I think easy enough.
Sorry, Samir, can you just give those line numbers again?
Yeah, 439. And then the other line number was 442.
Okay, thank you.
Any other, I guess, questions or comments? Todd has his hand up. Okay, Todd, go ahead.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Just a question. Again, I can't hear very well, but was there anything in the bill of particulars relating to security and, you know, crime and things of that nature? Is it maybe buried in those line items? That's such a pressing issue for so many people. I'm just curious if that came up for consideration.
So I'm happy to answer that. So our district needs statement was organized by 7 topic areas, which is how the Department of City Planning looks at it. And so crime and security is like a cross functional issue effectively that falls into many of these buckets. So you'll see that called out in some of the issues that we talk about in our top 3, which is homelessness, economic recovery, and affordable housing. But we also do have that called out for community feedback and for some of the requests we directly got across these topic areas. So it was a point of consideration for the committee, and it is something we called out, but not so specifically as to make it its own bucket.
That's great. So all I would say is when you make the presentation to the full board, make that point, because I would suspect that so many of our of the people in our district are concerned about it, and they may not pick up on that.
Sure.
Anyone else? Okay. Did you have more on this, Mohit, or did you want to keep going, or?
No, I mean, I'm happy to go into details of any of the particular areas that are of interest to this committee, but it's a rather long, like 60-page statement.
Sure. Yeah. So in the interest of not doing this again, like doing the same thing we're going to do again at the full board, I think unless there are sort of edits to what we're seeing here, I'd say let's take this to a vote and then we can discuss particulars at full board. So unless anyone has an issue with that approach, I'd say let's take this to a vote.
Mohit,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Anchor,
Encore, yes,
Encore. Forgive me, you all, please.
no problem.
Catherine is yes. Kevin,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Tristan. Absent. Lizzie? Lizzie, are you on mute? I just saw her on
You mean Libby?
Libby. I don't, again, apologies. Libby,
Yes.
how are you? I do know who you are. Yes, I see you said yes, okay. Miles,
Yes.
Samir,
Yes.
Yuran. Todd,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Michael Southward,
Yes.
Janice,
Yes.
Brad,
Stay.
abstain, okay. It passes. unanimously.
So then moving on to next, now we have parks. So with that, like Bex, unfortunately did not have a quorum at the meeting, so we will hear the resolution. Vote on that.
So, Parks Committee reviewed a application from Giant Spoon, an ad agency on behalf of Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon to host a one-day photo activation in Bryant Park celebrating the 25th anniversary of SpongeBob SquarePants. I believe they're calling it the Winter Wumboland, like photo booth. Anyway, so the activation will take place on Friday, November 29th, the day after Thanksgiving, in the Carousel Gravel area of the Winter Village. The event will feature the custom carriage / float thing that's actually going to be in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And it offers visitors a chance to take photos on it and receive a short video clip to their email, along with a commemorative holiday SpongeBob scarf. The committee appreciates the holiday offering, and they are making a significant financial contribution to Bryant Park. We did have some serious concerns about crowd management and crowd control, given that this is one of the busiest shopping days of the year and most active days in the park. And we discussed that fairly extensively with both the agency, production company, et cetera, about that we thought they should add a couple more personnel. And they were receptive and understanding of our sort of concerns about it. I think that's sort of the top line of the conversation. I mean, we went through the matrix. It's like, of course, we always have concerns about filming, but there isn't really commercial filming. They're not going to retain email addresses or any of the information. It's just like a photo booth opportunity, and you get it to your email address and you can post or do whatever you want with it. And then I think that's about it. So we were generally in consensus in favor of it, and that's what the resolution reflects.
Great. Thank you. Any questions? Any comments?
Is this the first time they're doing this particular activation?
Yes, it's specifically for like the 25th anniversary.
Okay,
So. we
right,
did-
you only have 125 now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We didn't inquire about the future.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, let's take this to a vote.
Oh, and we did ask if SpongeBob SquarePants influencers would be able to cut the line, and we were told they would not be able to. So this is for the public, and so there's no,
And who knew there was such a thing?
Anyway,
All right,
sorry.
thank you. Matt.
Mohit,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Ankur,
Yes.
Catherine is yes. Kevin,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Tristan is absent. Mark Hirschberg is absent. Libby,
Yes.
give me a second. Miles,
Yes.
Samir,
Yes.
Iran, absent. Todd. Todd, if you're on mute, you have to unmute yourself or type yes or something.
Yes, I'm good. Yes,
Thank you, Todd. David,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Janice,
Yes.
Brad, Cindy. So it passes.
Okay, so now we'll move into the rest of the committee reports, starting with landmarks.
Landmarks this month, we had 3 resolutions. They were all pretty non-controversial, all passed unanimously. Just to go through them quickly, the order on the table of contents. The first one is the Metropolitan Museum of Art. They're gonna restore the 3 entrances on the plaza on the 83rd Street side. So we all know the Met, there's the main entrance in the middle, and then kind of off to the left, there's another entrance kind of on the ground level for groups and other people. There apparently, at some point, way back in the day, there was another entrance, kind of proportionally same distance on the right side, and they're going to reopen that, break through the wall. And then they're also going to install a new chiller, which will reduce the electricity consumption by 54%. So both of those were, again, non-controversial, so that passed unanimously. The second one, 25th West 18th Street. The Siegel Cooper Building, it is in the Ladies Mile Historic District, so it's landmarked. This application was part of a original LPC master plan to renovate other parts of the building. This specific resolution dealt with the new lobby entrance and storefront, which involved restoring 5 bays on the first and mezzanine floor, and installing a new automatic revolving entry door. Again, not controversial. The third one, St. Bart's Church on 51st and Park on Park Avenue as a landmark building. They are installing a new HVAC unit on the east facade on the 4th floor roof. Unfortunately for them, it is just barely visible from the 51st Street sidewalk. So it required landmark approval, and it approved, again, unanimously. That was it.
Any questions to any of those? Okay, let's keep going. I think next on the table of contents is SLAP.
Sure. So SLAP had one reso and an update. So the reso had to do with establishing a process for dining out application review. So essentially, because DOT only gives us 30 to 40 days for roadway and sideway cafe applications respectively, that really forces us to come up with a way to review these applications within the application deadline. And so we discussed as a committee, and the reso explains how we had taken the matrix that the board had previously approved a couple of years ago, that was put together by the Open Restaurant Task Force to assess the design guidelines and how the cafe would fit into the community. Taking that matrix and then evolving it so that it conforms with the updated guideline, as well as the recommendation form that comes with each of the applications that DOT gives to us. So in doing that, laying out how our process as a committee, how we're going to review or notify the community, conduct due diligence on the applications, try to resolve any potential issues that arise to the best extent that we can within the time provided. And then essentially how we're going to come up with the recommendation that the chair or vice chair of the SLAP committee, in this case me or Miles, can fill out the form and then submit to DOT by the application deadline. And essentially the idea behind it is like, you know, if it's not controversial, it will be a like a no comment instead of a approval, just so we can move things along and focus more on the applications that might be controversial in some way. And then the other options are approval with modifications, in which case we will submit that if there are actual modifications that we can suggest, and then a denial if essentially if the operator is going to be a bad operator or it's just uncooperative, very much in the vein of like how we consider liquor license applications and when we would deny it in those cases. Yeah, so then that process got approved by the committee unanimously. So, oh, and then the update was just to announce that we officially kicked off the RLA task force to look up or re-examine the area so that we can resolve some of the ongoing issues that are going, and Iran is leading that task force.
Questions? All right, land use.
So we had one reso this month, and it's unusual because it was a review requested by FIT that will go to the Public Design Commission. And the reason it is reviewed by the Public Design Commission is because the FIT buildings and campus are built on city-owned land. And any building or landscape structure, or any structure of any kind that is built on city-owned land must be Design Commission before they are entitled to pull a permit for construction. So we reviewed it, and there was no objection whatever to the proposal of enlarging the lobby between two buildings mid-block on 27th Street. So it was unanimous. There were no objections.
Great. Thank you. Any questions? Okay. All right, I think that takes us through all the resolutions. So it's gonna be a short one tonight. So I think beyond that, we have the agenda for the public hearing. The full board was shared. Are there any questions or comments to that?
We were given a presentation by Parks on the Vital Parks Initiative. Is that something you surface to the board just in our?
It's like a report?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would come out as like in the same way that Janice just did for the RLA, where it's not a resolution, but here's what else would happen.
Okay.
So yeah, that could happen. It's the chair's report.
Keep doing.
Yeah, and great, and I see that it's on there as well, so. Okay. Then new business.
I just have one question, and maybe this is more for Marisa about Bex and the statement of needs. Is that because it's heard that it's not listed in Bex isn't listed on the resolution? But I can talk to you about the format. Maybe it's the way I'm looking at it. I don't see.
So the way it comes across in the table of contents, because it was officially passed by the executive committee, because there wasn't quorum at Bex, that one, and you'll also see the Winter Wumboland.
Right,
is,
they don't seem to be listed the same exact way, but if they are, it just might be my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had previously done on behalf of committees, so maybe we
Sure.
could do that to make it clearer in
Clear.
this
For
table of
Bex.
contents, just so that people know sort of where it's coming from. I think.
Okay.
But generally, it is officially coming from the executive committee.
That part I understood. I just wanted to make sure we had it listed the way it needs to be listed in the document. And I meant to address the chair. Yes, thank you.
Todd, I saw you wave your hand around a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, hi. I'm just gonna mention this. I haven't had a chance to talk to Catherine and Janice about this. It came up after our most recent SLAP meeting. But there was a court decision bearing on the enforcement of cannabis licenses that's really important. And I think it's worth mentioning at full board. Basically, it's a procedural challenge to the new padlocking law. And I'm going to suggest at our next SLAP meeting that, we have a discussion and weigh in on that, because there's nothing more important than the enforcement with regard to the illegal cannabis dispensaries. Anyway, just a thought, I'm just mentioning it at exec because it came after our last meetings, and it's pretty important.
Thank you, Todd. Anyone else? Is there anyone online, Josh?
No.
Okay. And that's all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Record
you.
time.